Hey, everybody. Welcome to Promote You. This is a free living educational portal. Instead of you being taught a lesson on how to self promote, how to market, you are going to hear interviews from different artists and entrepreneurs on how they go about it so you can learn from them. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Niles Abston. He recorded his first comedy album on his 25th birthday, which was February 15th, and then he released it on my 39th birthday, May 1st. Niles, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Kind of got a little bit of free time, everybody, right now with the epidemic, so
Yeah,
may as well take advantage of it.
a lot of free time.
Yeah, yeah. So, where were you born? Where are you from?
I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. That's where I was born, and
Okay.
then I was raised in a small town outside of Jackson called Flowood, Mississippi.
Okay, how big is Jackson? I know I hear about it, but I've never been.
I think it might be 500,000 people.
Okay, so it's pretty
Yeah,
big. It's pretty
it's. I
big.
mean, it's okay. It's the biggest city. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Is Flowood a suburb or is it like
Yeah,
more of a little? Okay, cool.
yeah,
Cool.
suburb.
All right. I understand suburb living. I grew up in like Jupiter, Cuesta, Florida, outside of West Palm Beach. So we had nothing going on there unless we went into the big town, Miami or West Palm. What was Flowood like growing up?
I mean, it's real slow, real simple. Not much goes on, except for this one day I'll never forget. It was the craziest shit ever. It was my junior or senior year of high school. I literally it was like Christmas break, so a bunch of family were over at our house, and I'm talking to my grandmother, and I look out the window, and all these SWAT trucks just start flying in our neighborhood. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought I was watching like a Will Smith movie or something. And it turns out some dude was like holding his family hostage in our neighborhood, and they sent the SWAT trucks, and it was crazy. But like, besides that day, that is the highlight. Nothing crazy happens in Flowood, really. So
That is pretty crazy. I don't know. Maybe something. I'm trying to think if anything crazy happened in Jupiter, but I don't think anything that bad. We had a lot of celebrities. I like grew up with Burt Reynolds coming to my family's store and stuff.
what?
Yeah, yeah. Burt Reynolds signed. He autographed his picture for me and then walked away. And I said, "Hey, you're walking away with my dad's effing pen." Because they used to tell like curse word, like sales reps would take my dad out to dinner. I'd hear curse words, and Bert just stopped and he looked really shocked and he handed me back the pen and he said, "Sorry, kid."
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. So that was probably the wildest thing that happened to me in Jupiter, Florida. I know your dad was a lawyer.
Yes. Well,
All
he
right,
is. He is a lawyer.
he is a lawyer currently.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And what did your mom do?
My mom was an English professor at
Okay.
a few different colleges growing up.
All right. Was there a lot of expectation on you growing up to be really scholarly?
Oh yeah, nothing but expectation.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
are they?
I
Sorry.
was told at 5 on the way to kindergarten I had to be valedictorian of my senior class. And I didn't even know what that meant.
Did you become valedictorian of your senior class?
Hell no.
All right. Fair. Salutatorian?
No, I mean I had a decent little GPA, but I was not close at all to. I stopped caring about school like middle school. I realized it
Okay.
was just kind of stupid, so I was just like, I'm good.
I think Albert Einstein too. I think you're in good company.
Okay. I don't know. I think I got bored with it really early.
Hmm.
I started reading at 3, so it's just
Okay.
like a lot of things with school as a kid. I just thought were kind of redundant, and I kind of checked out.
All right.
And then
What were you doing with your time instead of studying?
I would draw a lot. I really like to draw cartoons. I would like when I was little, I would like write my own comic books and like make stories, and so I would draw a lot. And then as I got older, then like I started smoking weed and drinking. So that's what took up my time. So that was fun. Yeah.
So, would you say drawing those comics was you writing your first jokes, or were you making jokes before then?
I think in a way, maybe. Yeah, because I would write little short stories, little funny short stories, that kind of thing. I didn't know they were like it was comedy or jokes or anything like that, but I would say that definitely kind of opened the door to like storytelling and all that.
Okay. What were your like first comic what did you really like when you were growing up?
Hmm. I mean, I love the old school like Batman and Robin stuff. Like I really
Okay.
like that. And then like X-Men was such a big like influence on me as a kid. The X-Men cartoon. I just love the whole like concept of super teams. I thought it was dope.
Oh,
So
I asked
me,
that question. I asked that question wrong, but that was an excellent answer. I meant, what were your first comedic inspirations?
oh,
But
comedic inspirations.
but
Oh,
while
that's
we're no no while we're on X Men though, what was it that drew you to X Men?
I just thought it was dope. It was just like X-Men and Power Rangers. I just thought it was dope. A bunch of different people like working together that had these different abilities. It reminded me like of sports in a way, you know.
Okay,
So I think that's why they were so cool to me.
all right. Teamwork. That's a really interesting concept. Maybe we can touch on that later when we talk about your super group, Goon Squad.
Yeah,
So as far as comedic inspiration, when you were growing up, what drew you out towards comedy?
it's really funny. Like I have my dad to thank definitely because it's just the things he would put on TV. So my dad was coming up as a lawyer when I was like, because he graduated law school when I was like a little kid, like 2 or 3. So like when I like my first like cognitive memories were really like him just coming home stressed out from being a lawyer, and he would like undo his tie and just plop down on the couch, and he would always turn Seinfeld on. And I just remember he would just be cackling at all these. Like my dad was just crying, laughing at this show. And I remember at the beginning of each episode, Jerry would get on stage and he would do stand up and he would tell jokes. I was a little kid; I was only like 5 or 6, so I didn't know what stand up comedy was. I just knew that's the thing that Jerry Seinfeld does. So that was kind of like my introduction to it. And then I remember one day, I can't remember what was going on at the house, but my mom and dad were like doing something, so they weren't really around, and the TV was just on HBO for some reason. And Chris Rock's comedy special, "Bring the Pain," which is still my favorite comedy special to this day. It's
It's
just
a great comedy
amazing.
special, yeah.
I remember being 6 years old, sitting on the couch by myself, and just listening and watching this vulgar ass comedy special with him saying all these horrible things that a 6 year old should not be hearing. And just, I don't know what he's saying. I just see all these people laughing and falling out their chair. And I was just like, yo, like that, whatever that dude is doing, like that's what I want to do. And so I did want to be a stand up comedian when I was a kid, but then I just kind of like lost interest in it. I don't know. I was playing sports and all that kind of thing. I ran track in college, and then so I didn't really think about it. And then when I was 20, I just decided I was going to do it. So,
Oh, so you've been doing it for the last 5 years then?
uh, basically when I turned 21, I decided I was going to do it when I was 20, and then I did
Mhm.
it when I turned 21, because then you could go to bars and do the open mics and stuff. So like next week will be like my 4 year anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah, of stand up.
Happy comedy anniversary.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You've already got your first album under your belt. Good job.
Yeah, it's
Now,
exciting.
yeah, before you got there, you went to school. What did you go to college for?
So I went to college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I got there. At first, I thought maybe like do education and just be a coach or something like that, because that's like what everybody does where I'm from.
Mhm.
And then I found social work, which I really liked. I thought about being like a counselor, a community organizer. I really liked it. I had like a 3.6 GPA, but school just wasn't for me. I didn't like it at all. So I got a film internship in LA when I was 20, and so I ended up moving to LA as part of like a college program, because I knew like I couldn't move to LA just dropping out of school. My parents would never let me do that. So I did this program, moved out here to do the internship with this production company, and basically I just sat at a desk and read scripts all day. And so I learned a lot about screenwriting. So I was like, okay, I want to do the screenwriting thing. And then I ended up dropping out of school because I found stand-up comedy, and I was like, I'm gonna just do this. And so like I just stayed in LA and didn't go back to college. So
Okay. All right. I think it's working out for you so far.
a little bit.
Um, yeah, yeah. Something's beeping inside of my apartment. Sorry. Oh, it was the quinoa. I'm making quinoa right now.
Quinoa, that's what's up. I love
Yeah,
quinoa.
yeah. It's beautiful. So you've got all that, and you've already got your first album under your belt. What made you want to try to put an hour up on stage? Was that a goal for you beforehand, or did you just decide you had the material, you wanted to put it together?
Well, I definitely I wanted to do one by the time I was 26, because Chris Rock did his first album when he was 26, and so I wanted to do that. But I kind of put it like it's funny, but like I just kind of did it out of spite, because I was just getting passed over for a lot of things I thought I was ready for, and I was seeing a lot of people that I just straight up don't think are as funny as me getting things. and being on TV and doing all this kind of shit. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna put an hour out so everybody can see what I'm doing. And then I have like a lot of friends that aren't from LA or New York, so they never see me perform or anything like that. So my album was the first time like any of them saw or listened to me do stand up.
Really?
So yeah, so like a lot of
Wow.
people like just like knew Niles as a stand up comedian, but they didn't really know what I was doing until the album. And so I just wanted to put something together that was just authentically me and just put it out there and just to see what happens. And I've liked the results so far. So
It's funny you said authentically me. I don't know you except for our conversation and a couple of articles that I read about you, but I just listened to the album and it does come across consistently as very genuine.
thank
You
you, I appreciate that.
you're welcome. How long did it take you to come to the point where you feel like you were writing in a voice that was yours?
Probably like 2 years in, because my
Okay.
first year doing stand up, I was horrible. I didn't really know what I was doing. I quit for like 3 months. Like it was just, I was terrible. But then that second year, I kind of like got into a stride and felt more comfortable on stage. And then, like, end of my second year, going into the third year, I was like, oh, I can do this shit. And I started getting a few more like opportunities and stuff. And so yeah, it's been interesting, but I think it's been worth it.
Okay, cool. So, let's move over towards the promotion of that. Ariel, my friend Ariel is listening right now. She just made a laughy face. I don't know what she specifically made laughy face on, but I'm just going to bring that up. So, the aspect of promotion, I've never made an album before. I've done all sorts of other kinds of promotion, but never that. When you first looked at that, were you, ready to vomit from the stress of having to, advertise and promote your own album? Did you feel comfortable? Were you ready for it?
I was excited because I knew the end product, people were gonna really like it, and so I was really confident in putting it out there and telling people about it and just promoting it and just getting all the art together and all that. It was honestly, that might have been the most fun part about it. The most nerve wracking part was actually doing the shit. So like so just knowing it was already done, and and people were gonna like it, that made the promotion fun and easy.
Yeah.
That was the promotion part was probably my favorite part of it.
So let's talk about the artwork portion of it. How did you go about getting the artwork? Is that your art? Is that
So
your work?
the cover is just a action shot of me taken during the show. This girl named Katie that was a photographer at the show. She's really dope. Shout out to her. She was hired by the team that they run this apartment show or house show every month called Scoopty Boopties. And so they hired her as a photographer because she's like a friend of them. And so she took this really cool shot and she sent me all the pictures and she was like, yo, this is my favorite one. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, yeah, I think that might be the album cover. So um, and so like basically kind of like how I was promoting it is just like I was really looking at how like a lot of what my favorite rappers do, and rap is a very self-indulgent art medium, I would have to say. And so and I think stand-up comedy is right up there with it. So I was just like, why not the first album just not have any title on it, no words, nothing. It's just me on it. Because if you like you said, if you just listen to the album, like you're literally just like learning about me for an hour. So I was like, why not the album just have me on it and nothing else?
Absolutely. Did you have any other concepts for it, and this one won out?
Yeah, I was thinking of a few other concepts because like it's called like the album's called "Girls Don't Torture Jokes," and kind of like the beginning theme of it
That's
is
the
like
first joke. Yeah.
making fun of the fact that like I wanted to be a rapper but I just couldn't make it happen. So I thought of doing like some concept art of like either like recreating some of my favorite like rap album covers or like doing like a cliche like rapper thing like with like Cash and like girls with their ass out and all that kind of thing. But then I just kind of thought like why not just put me on there?
Yeah. Maybe when you remaster the album in 20 years, you can go with that concept.
That might be something to explore.
So, as far as the promotion goes, what avenues did you go to get this out there that you had done this?
Twitter for the most part. That
Twitter?
was Yeah, Twitter for the most part. That's kind of everything I've gotten like comedy wise, writing wise has really come through Twitter. Either going viral on there and then people like hit me up like, yo, you want to write for this or things like that, or people like and so like when I put the album out, I was tweeting clips of it on Twitter and tweeting things to go with the album, and like whatever was trending, I'd make a joke about it and then like link the album to it. And then it was just funny how like there's a lot of things going on in the world that like I told jokes about months ago. And so like it was like a way to like, so like whenever that thing would be popular, I could just tweet a video of me doing that actual joke, and people would be like, "Oh shit, you were already talking about this," and then they go check out the album, like, "Yo, I love the album." So just current events and really just pushing it hard on Twitter was really like where I promoted it the most.
How long have you been using Twitter to promote yourself?
Since I was in the 10th grade.
You were using it to promote yourself in the 10th grade?
Yeah, like in 10th grade, me and some of my friends, we would just like, who can get the funniest tweet today? So like I feel like I've been doing comedy writing for like a long time. And then it was just kind of like living in a small town, like social media was this thing that kind of like made you bigger than what you were. So like people from like schools and counties all around, they might know who you are just because you're like your Twitter account. So there was like a good amount of like people who are like social media famous, like in our like town and counties and stuff. So like me and a couple of my friends, we'd always like to like try to make the funniest tweet and see who can like go viral in our little community and stuff like that.
So are you still connected to your home community? There are people from Mississippi still tweeting back at you quite a bit?
Yeah, I have a lot. Yeah, I have a lot of friends, you know, back home and stuff. And I guess it's been pretty like, it's been fun and interesting, like seeing like their opinions on the comedy album and stuff like that, because they knew me when I was in high school, and my only passion and focus was running track and playing football. So I think it's like it's probably kind of cool for them to kind of see like me doing something completely different. And then like I have jokes about Mississippi that they know exactly like who I'm talking about or like where that happened and stuff like that. So it's fun. Yeah.
I really like that Mississippi top 3 joke.
That one's a fun one. Yeah.
That really had me. Yeah. Especially the end. If you guys haven't watched it yet, at least go check out the Mississippi top 3. I saw it's on Spotify. Where else do you have it up so that people can stream it?
It's everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Tidal, iHeartRadio, and then you can actually watch the live show on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. What's the process for getting it up onto Spotify, onto Tidal? Do you just set up your own account and then start uploading it?
Well, you set up an account through like a distribution site, and so I use this website called DistroKid. They're pretty good with like the prices, and so yeah, I set up an account through them, paid for that. It's like a yearly subscription type thing, and then they basically upload your album on all the different streaming sites, and then you can like add stuff. Like I put out a bonus track to the album last week, so like you can continually like add things to your streaming profiles on there. Okay,
and has it? Do they help at all as far as getting the information out there, like letting people know that you're on these different levels, or is that still up to you?
Nah, that's all up to you. Yeah, it's all up to you. But it's a cool thing. You know, they keep track of everything, and you can see where your streams are at, and then you can link your bank account. So like when you start making money from the album sales and that kind of thing, you can get paid from it. So it's good.
It's especially important right now, seeing as you can't sell the album at the show right now.
No,
it's not going to happen for a little while. So when you're tweeting out, different parts of your show to people so that they can see it, so you can get more people to come back and watch it on these different levels, do you change the voice of the tweet when you're trying to speak towards a different audience, or do you just try to speak in your own voice all the time?
No, I just try to speak in my own voice because I feel like funny is like the language everybody understands. If it's funny, people will fuck with it. So it's just like if I think it's funny, I'll just say it.
Okay, cool. As far as the album goes, when you start working on your next album, what do you think you'll do differently? And obviously that's far out. Social media could completely change by that time. But
what do I think I'll do differently?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing another one until somebody pays me to do that shit. I'm never doing a free album, free whatever ever again. That's done. That was it. So when somebody pays me to do a special and works out a deal, that kind of thing, then I'll do another album. But until then, I ain't doing another one for free.
All right, fair enough. You have a group called the Goon Squad. Can you tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about them?
Yeah, that's it's my friends I do stand up comedy with. We run shows, but of course right now we can't run shows. So we have a podcast that we do together, and then we upload vlogs every week too, so you can just kind of see like what we're up to and our day to day, that kind of thing. And so yeah, we've been doing comedy together for a few years now. Just like we're all just kind of like friends. The group just kind of came together organically. But a few months ago, we decided to kind of like make it into something and start like weekly putting content out because of we can't go and do regular stand up shows.
Oh, nice. Who's in the Goon Squad?
Who's in the Goon Squad? First of all, my roommates Roger Lopez and Darren Davis. There's got Arthur Hamilton, Chelsea Grow, Chaz Carter, Jerome Tennyson, Yemin Kelly, Victor Martinez, Albert Escobedo, Cesar Lizardo, and am I forgetting anybody? No, that's everybody. That's 11 of us.
Nice. It's a nice big group.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Now you have a festival with them coming up. It's the Northwest Comedy Festival.
Yeah, we got into the Northwest Black Comedy Festival in Oregon, Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
We'll be headlining the festival. We're going to do our own. We're going to have our own stand-up showcase out there. I'm gonna host it, and everybody's gonna perform. And then another night we're gonna do a live podcast for the people at the festival.
Okay. Awesome. When is that supposed to happen?
February 2021. So hopefully things calm down by then. I would hope so, because it's like we're real excited. It's our first it's our first gig as a crew. Like our first book gig as a crew. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's very possible that things will calm down, and if not, you've got virtual shows still, so
Yeah.
that it's not quite the same, but it's something.
Right.
So how are you thinking about approaching promoting that? I'm assuming you're planning on using Twitter. Anything else that you're thinking about?
Definitely using Twitter heavy. And that's actually something I was actually talking to my friend Arthur. He does our editing and our cinematography as well as being a hilarious comedian. He's real funny. But we were just kind of talking, maybe in a couple months we're gonna put together like a real plan to try to reach people specifically in Portland that like comedy. So we're gonna start looking at like different kind of analytic things that we can do, because it's our first book gig. Like we want to do it right. Like we want people in Portland to really be excited about us coming down there, and we want to put on like a good show and hopefully do some events like outside of the festival too. That's kind of our goal, because like we want to come down there, sell merch and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we're over the next couple of months, we're definitely gonna try to put together a plan of how like specifically to reach people in Portland.
Okay, that's great. As far as putting together a plan, how do you? I just lost the thought. We'll slide back over to Twitter, because that's something I'm really interested in. I really didn't start using Twitter until like March. I had gone in and basically used this app a long time ago to get a bunch of followers.
Oh shoot!
Crowdfire. It was a follow unfollow app. It was really helpful. But if you look at how many followers I have versus how many likes I get on tweets, you can tell a lot of them are just Russian bots. Like there's no way.
Okay.
There's no way that a lot of them aren't, Russian bots. I have some real people in there too. It's been interesting. But in March, I really started tweeting every day, trying to get some attention to things. One thing I notice on Twitter, as well as on Instagram and Facebook, is if you post something that uses words that seem promotional, I find that I don't get as many looks or views.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's in the algorithm, or is that just people don't care, they don't want to like that?
I think it's a little bit of both, because like I'll get frustrated. Like back in December, I basically had a tweet that like broke the internet. Like my phone, like I couldn't even use my phone. Like my phone would die. My phone died like 3 times trying to check the stats on it. But like, I remember the impressions. I think it got like 22 million impressions. Like 22 million people saw it,
Wow.
and it's like all those people saw me just say some ignorant ass statement, but I couldn't get. I can But if I tweet something about my album, I'm not even gonna get a 1% of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like you kind of just have to take what you can get. So, you know, if I do go viral or something like that, I'll link my album under it or link me doing stand up under it. And then hopefully whoever trickles down from there, you know, they'll check it out. So it's kind of like a give or take thing. Like you have to give something to get a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely. So when you had the viral post in December, the viral tweet in December, did
mhm.
you link any of your work to that?
Yeah, because basically it was crazy because that was 2 months before I even did the album.
Hmm.
But I had a couple clips of me doing stand up, so like I was able to put like a clip under, and then I have a little animated short that I put on there too. So some people like checked it out, so it was
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome. Did that tweet do well when you added it to the other tweet?
Yeah, no, I got like maybe like 150,000 views on my little stand up clip. It was like a 1 minute clip. The joke's actually in the album. It's the Venmo joke.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so that was a clip. It was a clip of me doing that at a show in Ventura County. So it was cool. I mean, honestly, the biggest win was it got like 3,000 people to follow me that weren't following me before the tweet, and I've gotten to bring them to like the content that I'm putting out now. So
Do you find that when you're trying to get people to view things, Twitter seems to be a little bit easier to get people to actually go to stuff than some of the other social media?
yeah, I think Twitter is the best social media to grow your following. Instagram is one of those things where it's like the people that already know you look at it. There's not really a way to go viral in a sense. Or at
Yeah.
least like honestly, if you go viral on Instagram, it's probably because you went viral on another app, and then people are going to find you on Instagram. So that just kind of shows you that Instagram is just kind of like, what's the point? Whereas like Twitter, I can say something like it's crazy. I have like supporters in Brazil that love my album. But the only way I was able to get to that was through Twitter. Yeah, I got shared by like a big writer from Brazil, and so like they people in Brazil checked it out. They checked the album out, they watched it, and they'll hit me up. And I guess SNL is like a big thing in Brazil because they all say like I want to see you on SNL one day, you know. So it's like it's Twitter. I think Twitter is just dope to be able to reach kind of like all parts of the globe, everything. So
Some of the people that are watching right now, we're all friendly with Sarah Cooper, who's been going viral with all of the Donald Trump lip sync
yeah,
videos.
she's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed as soon as she had like 144,000 followers in March, and now she's at like 1.8 million on Twitter. But what I noticed was as soon as she started exploding, every single comment in her tweets would be like, "You need to get her on SNL. She needs to be on SNL, Lauren." Like,
Yeah.
I think that's just what everybody equates with like the top of comedy is
Right.
getting on SNL. So
Yeah.
maybe the Brazilians will get you there. I think you'll do fine without SNL though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, when you're trying to write a tweet to, obviously you're always trying to go viral. Are there any big rules that you use when you're trying to write a funny tweet to get yourself to explode a little more?
Try to use as least amount of words as possible.
Okay.
'Cause people are dumb. So it's just like uses the and just I try to make it sound as much as my voice as possible because I feel like if you see a tweet and you can kind of like hear it in a way like it's weird but like you can hear tweets like you
Yeah.
can hear the tone. There's a certain way like you have to say it, and so like I feel like when you do that, more people are willing to like retweet it.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely. Absolutely. Do you find that using shorter words has any effect or?
for sure. Because that's the thing. It's like people are scrolling. They'll give you one look, and if they can read it in that one time without having to like be confused or like what the fuck is he trying to say, but if they can say it, if they can just give it one look, read that one line, and just bust out laughing, they're gonna share it. You know. So like I just say like ignorant one liner stuff.
Ignorant one-liner stuff is a great sentence.
Yeah.
So as far as man, as far as the trending stuff, you mentioned when you were first starting out with Twitter in the 10th grade, you would try to hit stuff that was trending.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at that trending page, are you just looking for something that speaks to you? Are you trying to avoid like the top 5 because they're already too done out?
Well, it depends on if it's something that like I already talk about. So, I mean, if it's something that I think is funny already, or if I've talked about before, or I probably already had like an opinion on,
Hmm.
if it's trending, I'll say it. But a lot of things that are trending, I usually probably stay away from. Yeah, unless it's something that I actually do care about, like Kanye saying he's gonna run for president. Yeah, I let off some tweets about that because I think it's funny and it's something I've actually said before. So it's just like, yeah, I'll tweet about that. But J.K. Rowling, I don't like what's the point of me having an opinion on that? So it's just like I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough. So something that you connect to if it's on the trending, but
Right?
otherwise you don't go after it.
Yeah.
Do you schedule your tweets ahead of time?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
Uh,
I just they'll be like if I think something's funny, like I might save it in my drafts for later, or like if I think something's too ridiculous, I'll save it in my drafts and like wait like a day. I'm like, okay, you think this is fine to post? And then if I feel like it is, then I'll let it off. But I don't schedule anything.
okay. Do you try to shoot off at certain times a day, or just whenever you feel like posting?
Usually either earlier in the day or like right at night when people are probably like on their phones about to go to bed. I think are the best times, like 10, 11 a.m. or like 9 or 10 at night. I feel like those are like peak hours where people share stuff.
All right, cool. Um, as far as promoting yourself in the comedy scene to people that like comedy, do you find that you use word of mouth? Do you find that you just kind of talk about yourself in real life to people, try to get them to come out to shows?
I mean, yeah, if I meet somebody and if being a comedian comes up in the conversation, I definitely ask them to come to a show. And so it's like, and it's cool now. Like I have something I can like be like, yo, check me out. Like play this on Spotify or click me on YouTube. You can literally like watch me for a minute before you decide to come to a show. So now I have something where I can draw people. So hopefully, like when things open up, I can use that as a promotional tool to come see me live.
Have you had any situations where you've asked one person and it kind of avalanched into them asking more and more people? Has that happened for you yet? Kind of
Um,
like tweeting, but in real life?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Like, I was in New York last year, like last summer around this time, and so people actually do like to go to comedy shows out there. So, like, if I run into somebody that's a friend, or if I know somebody like, hey, I got a show here, they'll usually end up bringing like two or three people. So,
All right, cool. So it's good to have those relationships. Um, are there any are there any videos that you've pounded out several times that you've posted, I don't know, more than 3 times that you just feel like you need to keep putting out there for people to see?
yeah, jokes from the album all the time. Like, I mean, there's a few jokes I've tweeted like 4 or 5, maybe even 10 times. I don't really keep track, but because like that's the thing. It's like just because somebody's seen or listened to the album already, there's millions of people that have no idea who I am. So just because a couple thousand people have already seen something before, that's not gonna stop me from sharing it again. It's already out there. I want as many people to know about it as possible. So.
Is there a particular joke that you feel you've pounded out the most times?
Probably the joke that's first on the album, the one about Jaden Smith, because it's kind of like the album's theme in a way. So I feel like I've put that one out a lot, and I have it like pinned to my profile and everything.
Yeah. Has anybody come back to you and been like, "Oh, I've seen this before, you jerk, you're what a monster, making me watch this again," or is everybody pretty cool with it?
No, I mean they're pretty cool with it. And if they did, I don't care. Like,
No, it's more for just people watching. I find a lot of people are very worried. They are very precious with their posting. They don't, want someone to get angry with them. And even if they did, it's not going to do anything.
yeah,
It doesn't really matter. They're just people on the internet.
right. The internet's not a real place.
It's not a real place. It's not a real place at all. Have you had any weird internet experiences with Twitter? Have you had anyone get crazy?
Oh yeah, I've had to like block like white supremacists saying like real racist shit in my DMs like after going viral. Um, this married woman was like stalking me and trying to get me to like hang out with her after she listened to my album. It was weird. So yeah, I've had some weird shit happen from going viral.
Was that the same woman that kept trying to touch her leg in the joke in New York?
Oh no,
Okay.
that's completely different.
All right. You poor thing. All these women throwing themselves at you.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. What's have you met any people that you had wanted to connect with via Twitter? Like, are there any?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you
yeah,
have any
for sure.
stories like that?
One of my favorite comedians, actually, Roy Wood Jr.
Oh wow.
He's a correspondent on the Daily Show.
Yeah.
He found me. he found me on Twitter through this thing. I wrote this show. I really like this show, Atlanta, a lot. Donald
Yeah,
Glover show.
great
So
show.
I basically wrote my own episode, just like as a writing
Oh,
strategy, like writing exercise. And it didn't get into any of those spec fellowships. Like all the networks run those fellowships where like you turn in like a TV episode, like Fox, CBS, all those. And mine got rejected by all of them. So I just like a year later, basically, I tweeted it out, and somebody retweeted it that he knew. He saw it, followed me, DM me, and was like, "Yo, this is funny. Like, you want to work with me on a project that he was doing?" And it turned out to be some sketches for his comedy special that came out in 2019. It was really really dope. So yeah, basically he gave me my first writing credit. I got to write some stuff with him for Comedy Central, and that all happened through Twitter. And he was already one of like my favorite comedians. So it's just kind of crazy that I met him through a social media app.
he's really funny. He seems really cool. I
Yeah,
haven't gotten to meet him yet, but a lot of my friends have, and everybody says he's awesome.
yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. So what was the process for writing those sketches with him? Did you go, did you like leave your house? Were you, staying at home, just sending sketches from home?
So basically, he kind of gave me the gist of what he wanted to do, and
Hmm.
then I just sent him some notes back and ideas that I had for his ideas. And so we kind of got a plan together, and we would just kind of write back and forth on like the like Google Drive type thing. And then he finalized it, and then when it was time to shoot, they flew me out to New York, and so I got to be on set to kind of punch up the jokes on set and everything.
That's awesome. As far as, joke punch ups go, when you're looking at the joke and you're like, oh, this doesn't work, how do you step back and reapproach it? What's your
Um, Basically what I try to do is like when something's not working or if it just like you need something else to fill time. So
Mhm.
basically what I do is I just go what's the first thing that pops in my head, I just go with it. Because I feel like if you overthink ideas for too much, you start to second guess. So the first thing I think of, I just like let's try that. And then as that's trying to like we're trying to figure that out, then I'm trying to think of some more ideas. Because I feel like it has to be kind of like a rapid fire shoot thing until you figure out the one that works.
Okay, awesome. Are you a fan of using lists for writing jokes, or do you just try to knock out whatever comes out?
What do you mean by list?
Do you like make a list of ideas? Like you're writing a joke about a fire department, so you write down hose, you write down Dalmatian, you write down ladder, and then maybe no, that's not for you.
No,
Uh,
I've never thought of that before. I just no.
I'm
That's
still
interesting though.
I'm still learning joke writing, so I'm just trying to figure out what everyone else's format and style is.
Okay.
Like you just sit down and write jokes, and you're like, oh, this is funny, this isn't. You put aside
Um,
stuff that isn't.
how I kind of write jokes is like something happens, and then I just think of what's funny about it, and then if I think of something, I just put it in my phone for later, and then later on, I'll like go back and try to like make it into a joke in my notes app.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the process of going out to New York and meeting with these people, did you get to meet any other cool people besides Roy Wood Jr.?
Yeah, I met like a lot of just like dope comics that they might not be just like famous like Roy, but just a lot of dope comedians that were doing some work at Comedy Central, and so I kind of made some good connections with comedians in New York to where I can go back out there and perform and all that kind of thing.
Oh, that's great. So, I mean, as far as continuing those relationships, because that's something I wish when I was 25 years old, I understood how to build relationships. It seems like you're already doing it at a much higher level than I am at 39 already. But no, seriously, like relationship building is really hard. And when I was
It
25,
is.
I was so egotistical. I was very selfish. You seem, much more down to earth and, better at connecting to people already. So enjoy that. But how do you go about relationship building? What's in your head as you're, talking to people?
I think a lot of times it's kind of figuring out like what do you bring to the table, like as far as skill set goes, so
Hmm.
that way you can show people kind of like because that's what the entertainment industry is. Like you can have friends, I know plenty of people who have friends that are Mondo famous that make movies every year, but they ain't a part of that shit because they ain't got nothing to bring to the table. So it's just like I always want to make sure something in my skill set is or my expertise is something that is of benefit to whatever that person is in that relationship, that work relationship. So that's definitely something like because I think a lot of people focus on like I need to meet these people and blah blah blah, but they don't really fine tune their skills, so they're not prepared to even foster those relationships or use those relationships. So that's definitely something that I try to work on. Is like, what do I bring back to the table? Like, why would they even want to talk to me in the first place? What do I have that they possibly would want or need?
Okay, that's great. Have you had any situations with trying to promote something where it just didn't work out? You never got it to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of stuff, to be honest. I mean, that's all moving to LA has been, just failed project after failed project after failed project. That's why, like, this album is really like the first win. Like, to be honest, I'm not even gonna lie to you. You gotta be truthful about the L's too. But yeah, I've had failed web series, failed shows. I've had comedy shows where nobody showed up. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just like I've had plenty of events and projects that just didn't work out, or people didn't support, or maybe it was my fault I didn't promote it right. So, but all of that led up to this comedy album. So
That's great. When I was 25, I had my first sales job, and one of my bosses told me you have to get through like 99 no's to one yes. So
yeah,
basically, you just have to go through all those L's to get to the win. You
yeah.
got to keep moving forward. So that's great. As far as stuff that comes naturally to you, is there anything about marketing self promotion that you just got right away when you started trying to do it?
No,
No.
it's just trial. It's just trial and error, and like having a sister who's 20 that's really cool that can tell you like, yo, that shit's lame. Like, to be honest, so it's all just trial and error. To be honest,
Do you have an older sister that tells you stuff is lame?
I have a younger sister.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
She knows what's cool and what's not, so I can kind of bounce things off of her.
My 18 and 14-year-old sisters will only tell me things are not cool. They won't tell me what to do to change.
What's cool?
They'll just tell me what's not cool. I asked them to show me TikTok, and the 14-year-old goes, "Oh, Steven, you're not gonna get it." I was like, "No, it's okay. Show it to me." And then she did, and then she would just look at my face as she'd go from video to video and be like, "You don't get this."
Yeah, yeah. That's a whole nother world.
She's a mean little kid, but I love her. What are your goals coming up? What are the next steps for you after the Northwest Black Comedy Festival?
I want to make a movie.
Okay.
That's what I came out here to do. I came out here to write and direct movies. So it's just like that's kind of like the next step. I put the album out honestly as like a resume to get a writing job on like a TV show or something. Because I feel like a lot of people have like samples and stuff, but not too many people trying to be writers have a whole like hour of them performing out there. So I was just trying to figure out a way to set myself apart.
Yeah, you got an hour and 6 minutes actually, so even
Oh,
more than an
sweet.
hour, you're good. As far as stuff you want to get out there right now, where can people find the Northwest Black Comedy Festival?
I'm pretty sure they're on Instagram and Facebook as the Northwest Black Comedy NW Black Comedy Festival.
Okay,
And then they also have a website, nwblackcomedyfestival.com. So yeah, you can go ahead and check that out. I'm pretty sure tickets aren't available just yet, but I'm sure they will be in the next few months. But you can get all the information there.
okay, awesome. It's been great having you. You're a ray of sunshine in a fucking horrible coronavirus right now. Thank you for bringing this energy. I needed it. Um, Anything else you want to promote? Anything else you want to let people know about?
Definitely hit my website, nilesabston.com. I'm selling these twerk hats. I'm ordering a new shipment tomorrow, so they'll be ready. I'll be selling them again this next week. So
Okay,
check that out.
awesome. Everybody go to nilesabston.com. Niles, thank you so much for joining me today, man. You've been great. And everybody stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.